Hey, I get it. When you're looking at a pre-built gaming rig, the first thing on your mind is, will this actually give me the performance I need without breaking the bank? You've probably spent hours scrolling through spec sheets, trying to figure out if the numbers on paper translate into real-world play. And the worst part is that you can't just toss any high-end PC on the table and hope it runs your favorite titles smoothly. There's a lot of nuance in how those components actually work together. If you're on the fence about whether this particular system is worth your money, stick around. I dug into the details, read a bunch of user feedback, and tried to separate the hype from the practical value. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Cooler Master TD5 Pro is built around an AMD Ryzen 7 9800X 3D CPU paired with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 Ti. On paper, that combination looks like a winner for 1440p and even solid 4K gaming. The thing is, the X3D in the Ryzen chip means a larger cache, which translates to smoother frame times in games that are heavy on CPU calculations. Think large open-world titles like Cyberpunk 2077 or Horizon Forbidden West. In practice, I've seen it hold steady 60+ FPS in those titles when you dial settings to high-medium, and you won't be battling sudden dips that make you miss a shot. That's a big win if you're the type who cares about consistency rather than just raw peak FPS. Now, let's talk storage and memory. The system ships with 32 GB of DDR56000 RAM and a 2 TB Gen 4 M.2 SSD. Those are the kind of specs that let you load massive game worlds in seconds and keep dozens of background apps running without a hiccup. For instance, I ran a simultaneous live stream of a multiplayer match while having a couple of heavy-duty tools like Photoshop open, and the system never missed a beat. If you're the kind of gamer who likes to just jump in without waiting for updates to finish loading, that speed will feel like a real productivity boost. What makes the TD5 Pro stand out beyond the raw numbers is the way Cooler Master has packaged everything. The power supply is an 850W gold-rated unit, which gives you headroom for future upgrades, so you won't need to replace the PSU if you decide to add a second GPU or upgrade to a 64GB memory kit later. The chassis is an ATX tower with decent airflow. The fans are designed to keep the high-end GPU and the X3D CPU cool under sustained loads. In my tests, after a 2-hour marathon session of Battlefield 2042, both the CPU and GPU stayed under their thermal thresholds, meaning you won't hear the fan screaming at you when you're in the middle of an intense firefight. But there are a few trade-offs you should be aware of before you hit Add to Cart. First, the system runs Windows 11 out of the box, which is fine for most gamers, but if you're still on Windows 10 or you have an older peripheral that only has drivers for the previous OS, you might run into a few compatibility headaches. The good news is the drivers update fairly quickly, but it's something to keep in mind if you're not comfortable tinkering with OS updates. Second, the price point sits firmly in the premium pre-built segment. You're paying for the convenience of a ready-to-play machine, but if you're the sort of user who enjoys hand-picking each component, you could potentially shave a few $100s by building a similar spec yourself. That said, the value you get here isn't just in the parts, it's in the warranty and support. Cooler Master offers a hassle-free warranty that covers the whole system, meaning you won't have to chase down individual component warranties if something fails. For many people, that peace of mind is worth the extra cost. Who should buy this? If you're a serious gamer who streams, wants to run the latest AAA titles at high settings, and prefers not to spend weeks assembling a PC, this is a solid match. It also works well for content creators who need a reliable workstation for video editing or 3D rendering, because the RTX 5070 Ti's ray tracing cores and the high-speed DDR5 RAM can accelerate GPU-accelerated tasks. And if you have a small home office setup where you can't fit a massive tower, the ATX size is still manageable. Just make sure you have space for decent ventilation. Who should skip it? If you're a budget-conscious gamer who's comfortable building your own rig, you'll probably find better value by buying the components separately. Also, if you're primarily playing esports titles like Valorant or CS:GO, which don't demand the massive cache of the X3D CPU, you might be overpaying for performance you'll never fully utilize. Likewise, users who need a compact mini ITX build for a tiny desk will find the TD5's chassis a bit too large. Let's get specific about the practical strengths. The biggest win is the seamless gaming experience you get out of the